Welcome to another edition of the DigiStore Hardware Check. We're going to take a look at the Smoke on Mac and how you can improve workflows with a 10 gig e-connection. In this example here, I'm using two Mac Pros, and they are Smoke qualified, so the application is installed on this one and on this one. I call it Suite A and Suite B. And I only have, in this setup here, I only have one floating license. So you can definitely have a floating license configuration in your facility, which means that whatever application starts first will connect to the license server and grab that single license, which means that only one Mac Pro can run Smoke at a time. So this is of course only possible if I have everything connected over the Ethernet using, for example, a 1 gig e-connection, which is, I think, very common nowadays. Now, let's assume for a second that this operator here, who is working on the project, cannot really finish the project because he has to switch rooms. He has to move into another room and continue there. This is absolutely possible, and let's assume this for a second. So the operator quits this application and moves over here, and whoever has booked this room now starts to work with Final Cut or Avid, doesn't matter. Now, the problem that the operator on this system has is that all the assets that he used to have here are no longer available on this storage. However, through a technology called Autodesk Wire, these frame stores are all connected over the network automatically. So from an application point of view, it looks like this. I can see Suite A and Suite B, so this is actually what the operator would see, and he can access either his frame store with his libraries and timelines, or the gateway, which basically is everything outside of the frame store, so ProRes files, media files in general. Now, he can also access Suite B, which again has a frame store, maybe with a timeline he just finished on the other system but needs to get now. And then again, over there he could get the media that maybe the Final Cut Pro user is currently using. Okay, so again, on this system it will look exactly the same. So what would the user in this suite actually do? Well, he would browse to the frame store of Suite B and connect to it and import the complete timeline he was working on into his frame store. This is possible while the operator is running Final Cut or any other application, because the Autodesk Wire service is basically running in the background and providing basically all the information that the operator needs. Now, unfortunately, we are having a 1 gig e-connection. So this is very slow. It may be enough for compressed workflows like ProRes files, MXF files in general, or other media, but it's certainly not enough for uncompressed high-quality files which are residing in the frame store. And this is unfortunately something that you cannot solve with a 1 gig e-connection. So certainly no high-speed copies across Autodesk Wire. You can't even really scrub whatever is on the frame store here because it's just awfully slow. And this is where 10 gig E comes in. 10 gig E connection is 10 times faster, of course, but it allows you essentially to not only copy stuff in high speed, but also to scrub all the content here in the frame store at very high speeds and quickly and efficiently. So, by the way, the Autodesk systems can be configured so that they specifically use this connection here when sharing frame store files, but for all other tasks use the 1 gig e-connection. So you have a lot of flexibility here to tailor basically your suite and your workflow. Okay, so I guess accessing files between Smoke workstations using 10 gig E is great in case you have to copy something, but there is a bigger advantage which is little known, and that's what I want to show you now. I call it frame store sharing, and it's Again, let's assume with this very same setup that we have a 10 gig e-connection, so let's forget about the 1 gig e-connection that we had, and we want to copy things. Now, how does the data actually travel? Well, if I copy something, the data goes from the storage to the Mac Pro, across to this Mac Pro over 10 gig E, and then back to the storage. And I have a copy on my local disks here. Since I'm using 10 gig E, however, and I have basically no bottleneck anymore, I can also have a direct remote access. So this is basically the green line here, and as you can see, my local storage in this scenario is actually obsolete. I don't need it anymore. I simply launch my application, I log on to the Framestore here and the project here, and I start to work straight away while the SweetBee is using Final Cut and doing whatever it needs to do. So all this is possible because I can transfer files to this workstation over 10 gig E, so it's very fast. And because I have a very high performing storage as well, so in this case a Sandman. So this workflow is actually great, I think. It does not replace a central storage, and it does not make the local storage here really obsolete. You should always have a local storage. But it gives you this extra amount of flexibility when you're working with Autodesk systems, because this setup actually does not only work between two Macs, it also works between a Smoko Mac and a Flame Premium, for example, which is really, really great. If you want to know more about this whole topic, how to improve your Smoko Mac production workflow, feel free to download the Digistore white paper. It's all about Smoko Mac in established post-production environments. It's free, and just go to digistore.com.au. Thank you very much, and bye.